Basically, we've always been told don't go back into the catacombs, which is behind that curtain. It's the original portion of the cellar, and it has all the electrical to the main house. So we've been told don't go down there, just because they don't want us messing with the electrical. Well, years ago, they let a guy go back there, and they let a woman go back there. They didn't even make it halfway back and felt something, and when they came out, their pants and the woman's whole dress had muddy handprints on them. Okay, so they came out here and they locked the door and they called in Lorraine Warren. But I will tell you, if you hear footsteps upstairs, there's nobody in the dining room. I myself personally locked both. I keep hearing that door sounds like it's creaking open. Mm-hmm. That's creepy. I haven't heard that ever. I have heard knocking come from there before. I've also heard humming come from there 3 times. And I've
We're at the FARNSWORTH about to do their investigation down in the basement and wherever else they take us. We'll see how it goes. Hope it's pretty good. Should be cool.
My name is Kayla. I will be your guide this evening. If you have any questions at all, be it paranormal or historical, please do not hesitate to ask, okay? I don't believe in stupid questions. How are you supposed to know if you don't ask, okay? If you don't want to ask in front of everybody, you can come up to me after the tour and ask away. Now, if you guys stump me, because I have been stumped before, I don't know everything, I wish I did, I will give you my work email and you guys shoot me an email with a question and I will research until I find you an answer. I have my bachelor's in education as well as history, and I'm 3 classes from my master's in history. So ask away, all right? If you want to take photos on the tour, take all the photos you'd like. What I recommend doing, though, is if you're going to take a photo and you're trying to capture something possibly paranormal, what I recommend is, like, say I'm taking a picture of that sign. I want to stay right where I am and take at least 3 to 4 shots in a row. Okay, because something may not show up on 1 that may show up on 3. You just don't know. Okay? But before we go in, if you look at the side of the house, the brick portion, there are over 100 bullet holes in the side of the house. That's because up in the attic there were Confederate sharpshooters. Okay, and I'll tell you about all that when we get in. Okay, so this is the main dining room, and at the time of the battle, it was used as a makeshift hospital. Okay, now I started out working as a hostess about 16 years ago. I would sit at that desk, and I would see people help clean up the tables, and at the end of the night, I would set the tables for breakfast for the next day. So, it was weird because I never knew the house was haunted when I first started working here. I had no clue. So what I would do is, I'd be in the dining room all by myself, and let me shut this right here. Yes, this is distracting you. Let me shut the right here. You're good, honey. Yes. Oh, there you go. You go, which I didn't know. I just pushed the button. All right. So, what I would do is I would be in here by myself. So, one night it was about 9:30, and everybody was gone. There were 2 waitresses in back rolling silverware. I was standing right at the table where you are.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. I was standing there facing the fireplace, and I went to set a plate down, and out of the corner of my eye I saw a little boy dart back to the back room. Now he was about this tall. He had like blondish brown hair, and he had a cream colored shirt, kind of like this, but it was a little creamier looking, and he just took off. And I didn't know what I was just thinking, oh my God, somebody's kid got loose from him. So I go running back, and I said, hey, I said, did you see the little boy? And they're like, what little boy? I said, the little boy that just ran back here. They're like, Kayla, there's no little boy. I'm like, yes, there was. I just saw him. They're like, oh, it's probably just Jeremy. And I said, who's that? The owner's grandson? And they said, no, it's a little boy that haunts the inn. I said, you guys are full of it. They're like, no, seriously, Kayla, the house is haunted. You didn't know that? I'm like, no. Well, then I went home and researched it and found out it's the second most haunted inn in Pennsylvania at the time, next to the Cashtown Inn. And it was about the 13th most haunted inn in America. And it's still up there. And I thought, oh my God, what did I just see? It scared me. I didn't want to work anymore. But I decided I'll get over it. And then about a month later, the owner, Mr. Schultz, said, I would like you to do the historical house tour. So I would take people through the house and show them all the history portions of the house. And in the attic, there are a ton of artifacts from the Civil War. And I had to learn what all of them were and teach everybody. So I would do this on a 45-minute rotation from about 11 in the morning until about 11:30 at night with one other storyteller. Well, it was about 11 o'clock one night, and I had a group to go up to the attic, and my friend Mike had a group coming up at 11:30. So I took my group up, I ushered him into the attic, and I shut the door. I go over to sit down, the door swings open. Well, I'm thinking, okay, I didn't shut it well enough. I go back over, I give the door a shove, I push it really good, I go, my butt just hits the seat, door swings open again. Now I'm like, okay, this isn't normal. And my heart's racing, I'm thinking there's something weird going on. Well, then I got up for a third time, went over, shut the door, and I noticed there was a horseshoe latch. It was like a little latch, and you slid the bar down into it, so that's what I did. Went over and sat down, I'm giving my tour. I look at my watch, I'm like, I got enough time to maybe let 3 more people give, an artifact, and I'll tell them what it is. And I said, Mike's going to be coming up, and we got to get out of here. And I just get that out of my mouth, and I hear tink. And I look over, the latch flew up, the door swung open. That was not normal, okay? My heart about stopped. I said, okay, you all ready to go? And they're like, shut out the lights! Shut out the lights! I was like, are you all crazy? Did you not just see what happened? Come on, just shut out the lights. I was like, you guys are nuts. They're like, please, please. Well, I'm a people pleaser, so I go over, I hold the door shut, I shut out the lights, I'm waiting for something to grab me. Nothing did, or I wouldn't be able to tell you the story. I had a heart attack. So I stood there for a minute, and I was like, oh Lord, let this time go. And it went. So I was like, okay. I was like, now we got to get out of here. I flipped the lights on. I said, Mike's going to be coming up, and I hear it on the door. And I'm like, great. Now I got to get down this flight of stairs with this big thing in 2 groups. I opened the door, and there wasn't a soul there. I wasn't the only one that heard the knock. Now, Jeremy is a little boy that haunts the inn. He lived up the street. He was out front playing a game called horse tag. They would run out and tag the horses as they were coming by. Well, Baltimore Street kind of comes down at an angle, so horses pick up speed by the time they get down here. Jeremy ran out to tag the horse, and the horse and cart trampled him. Kids start screaming. Dad runs out, grabs Jeremy, brings him up into the Sarah Black room, which is right above us, in the bathroom, which is now, it's now the bathroom. It was a nursery back then. They laid him out, called in the doctors. When the doctors got here, there was really nothing they could do. He laid there for 3 days before he finally died. I truly believe that Jeremy's here and haunts the house. I've seen him. I've had things go off, light up, and things like that. And we're going to pass out some equipment so that you guys can try to see if we get any readings or anything. And we'll see what we get, okay? Does anyone have any questions? Yes.
How old was Jeremy? Was he like 4?
No, he was between 6 and 8, and every time that I've asked him via the ghost box and dowsing rods, I get 6.
Okay. Because we're staying in the Sarah Black room.
Okay. Yeah, I always get about 6 years old. And then when I ask about soldiers in the attic, I get 6, and sometimes I get 7.
Okay.
So there were 6 to 7 soldiers, I'm not sure of the exact number, up in the attic. Jeremy was about 6 years old. Another person that is in the house that we made contact is Mary. Is anyone else staying in the house? I know you guys are. Anybody else? If you happen to smell roses real strong, there are no plugins in the house. There are no, like, what are those things that, like, mist things? There are none of those in the house. I'd ask. Because one night I was coming around and going down the side stairs where you guys come in, and I smelled flowers real strong. And the next day I asked our housekeeper, Vivian, I said, did you smell flowers? I said, is it like something that you guys, like, put in the house, like incense or something that you guys have going on? She said, honey, there's no plugins and there's no things like that. I don't know what that was, but that was loud, whatever it was. So I said, okay, so if you smell roses, Mary was a person who was here. She was a caretaker at the time that she was here. And it wasn't by choice. She, like, was forced into having to take care of people. But if you're staying in the house and you're not feeling well, sometimes you might feel a cool hand brush across your head. Sometimes you might feel the covers tucked in. Sometimes you might even feel a presence, like, sit on the edge of your bed. That is probably Mary.
I heard too there was a cat.
There is a cat. People, and I will tell you, I've had that happen to me once on a tour. The cat made its appearance. I've never had anybody capture him in a photo. One of our storytellers does have a photo with the silhouette of the cat up in the attic window. I'm trying to find out which storyteller has it. Yes.
The cat supposedly lives in our room.
He does. Is it the bellboy?
Yeah.
Yep, he does. And I will tell you, he's been in the cellar a few times. One time I had a group in there. It was about 15 or 20 people. And I had a couple people sitting way in the back. And this lady jumped up and screamed. I was like, what's the matter? She said, do you have an animal in here? I said, no, I'm not a live one. Why? What happened? And she's like, something rubbed up against my leg. It felt like a cat was, like, rubbing up against my leg. And I was like, well, I didn't even tell anybody that there was a cat. But yes, there is a cat that haunts the inn. It's weird. It's weird. So that's something that you never know. Okay? I'm going to come over here and borrow your table to get out some equipment to pass out to everybody. Thank you.
He said he found something jump up on the bed.
That does happen. It will. It'll jump up. And it likes the Sarah Black room, too. It does like the Sarah Black room. And I'm not saying that just because you're staying here, but I've had people using the devices on the bed. And we had a K2 sitting on the bed, and it, like, bounced, like something hit the bed. And I think it was the cat then, too.
Oh. I know they told us that something moves the canopy over the
Something
bed.
moves the canopy, and also watch that wedding dress, because sometimes it becomes animated and starts floating around.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very scary, but it has happened. Have you read the journal that's in the book?
Yes,
or
ma'am.
the book that's in the room?
Most of them have that around 12 to 4 in the
12 to
morning
4, yep.
is when everything starts
happen.
moving, doors opening.
Mm-hmm. No lie. That's the Lord's honest truth. Stuff happened. Okay, so what we'll do, I'm going to go back, shut the light out. I'm going to shut the light out here. I'll tell you, you can shut the light actually. It's just it's right here on this inside. Yep, it's that pushing off. And what we'll do is I'll ask questions. Now, we all going to be very quiet, and then I'll ask a question. We'll give it a few seconds to see if anything responds to us. Sometimes we get a response, sometimes we don't. It's just something that we've got to try, okay? And unfortunately, we don't have hours upon hours, because that's when you get the most of your evidence. It's crazy, but I've been in this house up in the attic, and I've had the ghost box say things. I've had EVPs. It's crazy. The one night a couple was in here, and something said his name, and you could hear Justin. His name was Justin, and you could hear Justin, real faint, but like wispy. It was really creepy. So, all right, let me. Okay, here we go. And then my playback. All right.
No, you can do them.
Go ahead, you can shut it. Alright. Oh, we still got that one on. It's alright. I'll go over and shut that off. Alright, there we are. That light, unfortunately, I can't shut off. Just to the main dining area, so. Alright, let me see here. I'm gonna try to get out of the way. There, I'm by my suitcase. Okay. Is there anyone here who would like to communicate with us? There are several people in the room who have K2 detectors. They are the ones with the green light. You can go up and make one of those light up for me. You can tell us your name. Who's here with us? Is there anyone here with us? Can you light up one of the K2s or light up the REM pod that's right here next to me? My hand's kind of over it. Can you light anything up for me if you're here? Jeremy, are you here with us? Jeremy, if you're here, is your father here as well? Walter, are you here? Are any Civil War soldiers here with us tonight? Mary, are you here? If anyone's here, light up the REM pods. Light up the K2s. Okay, go ahead and flip that light on. Everybody close your eyes. Okay, let me see if we got anything. Sounds like it's down in the basement because my foot vibrated. Oh, did you hear it? Walter was a Civil War soldier. Okay. He wasn't killed in the attic. He was. Are any Civil War soldiers here with us tonight? Mary, are you here? If anyone's here, light up the red pod. Light up the K2s. I don't think there's anyone here in the dining room.
They're afraid of the coronavirus.
Yeah, they're scared. They're scared of the corona. They're like, corona. This was flickering. That's why I kept saying if you want to touch it, it was flickering. The green light was like barely flickering, but it wasn't enough that it was setting it off. But it kept flickering. So I was kind of like, maybe, but it's not flickering now. But it was flickering.
Yeah, it had a light color.
It's flickering a little bit. That's weird. All right. What I'm going to do, I'm going to have you go out the front. I'm going to lock up the back and lock up this door, and I will meet you right out there after you go out the side panic. Okay. Oh, you're Go ahead. You go ahead. Going out there.
I got a question.
Sure.
I was reading the journal about the Sarah Black's room, and the guy named William was that.
That's Jeremy's dad.
Okay, because they said he loves to communicate over the spirit box. That he would cut your ear off.
Sometimes he does. He doesn't like Jeremy to like open up any of the electronics or anything like that. He doesn't like him playing with any electronics. So if he's around, Jeremy won't light up anything. So that's what I was asking.
We got some little light up balls and we brought for Jeremy to
See if
play
he
with.
lit them up. Hopefully he did. He does. So.
I wonder what it means when it crosses.
It's whatever you ask them.
Also, whatever you ask, if it crosses, it answers.
Yeah, well, you can ask them to cross the rods for yes or no or whatever.
I guess it's pointing to the river.
So down here, I can basically just briefly tell you a little history of the house. So the original portion of the house is actually the wood portion that sits behind the house. It was here in 1810. And then the brick structure was added in 1833 by John McFarland. And if you look at it, the whole side is riddled with little white specks. Those are all bullet holes. There are over 100 bullet holes in the side of the house. Our attic was taken over by the Confederates because basically when the Confederates chased the Union through town, they pushed them up to Cemetery Hill, and when they were up there, they gave them the high ground. So the Confederates were left down here like, where do we go? So they went into places like our attic. They went over into the Weinbrenner house on the porch. The house that used to be over where the bell tower is looked identical to the Weinbrenner house, to Mr. G's. They'd go up on that porch, and they all were taking aim up at Cemetery Hill. Now they were really smart. They didn't just go and take aim and just shoot and just pray that they got somebody. They would actually take their hats and put them on a stick and move them and draw the Union fire. Then when they knew the Union was reloading, they would go ahead and take aim up at them and shoot a lot of them. They were really smart. So down here, it wasn't uncommon for bullets to be flying, okay? And it was weird, though, that only one civilian was killed during the three-day battle, Jenny Wade, because men, women, and children would be seen walking right through Baltimore Street going to the outskirts of Gettysburg to get away from it. So for them to walk through and not get shot, that's crazy. And then for her to get shot just needing dough to make bread for her soldiers that were up there, it's crazy. So does anyone have any questions so far before we go into the cellar?
Do you think Jenny Wade's still there?
I do believe that there's something with Jenny Wade up there. Yeah. Have any questions about anything down here or about the battlefield or anything in general?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I know that your specialty is like here in town.
Yeah.
But have you ever experienced anything out there?
Yes. On the battlefield, yes. Devil's Den, I've gone out there and I cannot get a good picture out there to save my life. They all end up smeared. It doesn't matter. I've gone
Like
every
which
year.
position?
Any position that I'm in, it smears. I've tried to take it of the sharpshooters area, smeared. And I'm like...
On your phone?
On my phone and a camera, a digital camera. Yeah, it's crazy.
I heard that they might not like photographers.
They don't, because the body that was in the picture out there,
Yeah.
they actually moved him around to different areas of the battlefield to position to take pictures.
Yeah.
Right.
I know Jenny
Yeah.
Wade's father does not like pictures because I took some. He said, "You didn't ask." I was like,
Yep.
"I'm sorry." Can
You're
I,
like, sorry.
I was like, "Can I take a picture?"
It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, that Jenny Wade's house, I've never had an experience myself in it, but other people, like we had another storyteller go in it before and he's gone up to the chair, it was rocking and it stopped when he walked up to it.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I've never had anything happen in Jenny Wade's house. Some people have had the chain
I had
downstairs
that.
Oh, he
rattle.
had it. I had a ball that I sat in the floor.
And
It
it
rolled so fast past me that it was like I could feel the wind off of it. Anyway,
You're like, oh my God.
yeah, I was like, oh wow, thank you.
Oh,
During the day?
coming out.
No, at night
Nighttime.
we had it by ourselves.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. In the dining room? Yeah, and there's no one in there. 'Cause I locked it. Yeah, I locked it all up and shut it all up. If you guys hear footsteps above us, there's no one in that dining room. All the lights are out and it's locked. I locked it. So if you hear footsteps, there's something going on.
I had actually yelled, "Doctor, we've got an itching man down here." I've heard the door open and
Somebody come down the steps. Yep.
Damn.
Yep. I've heard it too. I've heard the steps a lot of times.
We hear it out there in Sarah Black's room.
Yeah, the steps, and there's no one on them.
And so, boom, and we'll look out, there'll be nobody out there. Well, where'd that come from?
Is it true that Lorraine Warren come and
Yes, I'll tell you about her when we go in the cellar.
cool deal?
We watch a lot of their
I love
videos
her.
and
Yeah.
I
books.
love her. I loved her. She was just so good.
Yeah.
She did so much good.
Yeah.
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 It feels a lot cooler than it was out there. I'm going to tell you, it feels nicer in here than out there. So get a good baseline.
I don't know down with
It feels nice in here, doesn't it? So much better in here than out there. Okay. Come on in, guys. Have a seat wherever you'd like to sit. I'll make you sit up front. Thanks, boys. All right, guys. I'm going to sit down for a minute. Welcome to the cellar. This is set up like a morning theater because back at the time of the battle, a lot of people used their cellars as morning theaters, as funeral parlors, because it's cooler, obviously. And embalming wasn't required, but if you wanted to have someone embalmed and you had the money to do it, you did it. If not, the body just laid out in the cellar. Okay. What I'm going to do, I'm going to tell you briefly some of the things that go on down here, and a little bit about some of the things that kind of happened but haven't happened lately. So basically, we've always been told don't go back into the catacombs, which is behind that curtain. It's the original portion of the cellar, and it has all the electrical to the main house. So we've been told don't go down there. Just because they don't want us messing with the electrical. Well, years ago, they let a guy go back there and they let a woman go back there. They didn't even make it halfway back and felt something, and when they came out, their pants and the woman's whole dress had muddy handprints on them. Okay, so they came out here and they locked the door and they called in Lorraine Warren. Now, if no one knows who Lorraine Warren is, she was a clairvoyant, a paranormal investigator. She was very good. She did a lot of good things. She came here. Also, the movie Annabelle and The Conjuring is about her. So she came here and she blessed the catacombs, and I'll show you. There's a blessing. She did a circle with the cross in it. She blessed the catacomb area, and she told them back then. She did a light cleansing, and she told them to cover that mirror for 3 years or get rid of it. Now, they did neither, but the daughter who owned the mirror moved away, took it with her, put one in that was similar, and then came back and brought the mirror back. Well, we started having issues when the mirror came back. Women would feel like they were being choked, they would get pinched, they would get poked, they would have their hair pulled. I actually had a guy take a photo of me. I was standing here and my hair was held out like this, and he took the picture. He never sent it to me, but that's something that has happened. So we called in Kindred Spirits. Has anyone seen that episode of Kindred Spirits? Okay, well, basically what they found was that we got the mirror from an estate sale, and they found that the owners of the mirror had a son who was really bad. He and a friend ended up killing a tour guide out on the battlefield and hid it, but they were found and convicted, found guilty, and sentenced to death. And on death row, he did artwork. So what they believe is that a piece of his art used to be in that mirror, that frame, but they took it out and replaced it with a mirror because they were ashamed of what he did. So they think he was the one that was inhabiting the mirror and causing the problem. Now they told us to get rid of it, and they did. They got rid of the mirror for a while. They had it cleansed and blessed and brought it back. But we have since had pictures show up with things in them, and I can show you guys a picture later of it. And we've also had people get sick coming in, storytellers, not any guests. They come in and they've called him out, and one of them got very sick and had to go out and got like violently vomiting because of it. So I don't call him out. I don't mess with that. But I will tell you, if you hear footsteps upstairs, there's nobody in the dining room. I myself personally locked both. I keep hearing that door sounds like it's creaking open. That's creepy. I haven't heard that ever. I have heard knocking come from there before. I've also heard humming come from there 3 times. And I've worked here, well, I've been doing chores for about 16 years. I've heard humming coming from there 3 times. Because there was a soldier found back in the catacombs at the time of the battle, Lieutenant Jackson. He was comforting a fallen comrade who'd been nearly decapitated and was like rocking him, humming to him. I've heard it 3 times. If you hear walking upstairs, it's nothing. There's no people up there. If you hear footsteps coming down the steps behind you, that's something that happens. You may hear the door slam. You may hear footsteps, like I said, and that's just something that happens. If you get any photos with anything in them, it may be because there's something going on, okay? So, and also, we'll try to play this game real quick toward the end of the tour, and what I do is, if you have more than a couple people in your group, or you have like 2 guys or 2 girls in your group, you can call out a name, and we'll see if the person talking to us can point to that person, okay? I'm not psychic. I don't claim to be. I wish I were, because if I were, I'd hit the lotto and live somewhere hot. But I'm not psychic, so unfortunately, I can't hit the lotto. I can't play. I don't play it anyway, so I'd never hit it if I wanted to. All right, let's try the ghost box. Let me turn this back on. Let's see if we can get. I'm gonna get the car out. And do you want Papa Smurf or do you want the bear?
Bear.
There's the bear. I'm going to lay Papa Smurf on the chair. Sometimes he will move, sometimes he will not move. I'm going to put the car right here because I'm not going to walk through that aisleway, so you'll see if he moves the car. Also, I'm going to set up the REM pod. I'm going to put it over by, okay, I hear you. I hear you. Stop going off. Maybe if I put it out, it won't go off. I'm going to set up the REM pod. Okay. I'm going to watch your bear. I'm going to hit it with my dress. Just for a second. I'm going to put this by the door. And we'll see if it lights up. Okay. All right. Reverse, forward. I'm going to do this one reverse. Forward. And my phone forward. Okay, we'll do a brief session with this, then we'll work with Thousand Rods to see what we get, okay? If there's anyone here who wants to communicate with us, could you please tell us your name in the ghost box? Tell us your name. Said something. Tell us your name. That's a temperature gauge. Okay, you're by it, obviously. Tell me your name. Jeremy, if this is you, I want you to light up somebody's REM pod in here, or somebody's K2, or light up the REM pod that's over there. If this is you, Jeremy, light up one of the instruments. Now, you guys, the only way I'll know if he's lighting up anything is if you tell me. Is he lighting yours up? No, not yet. I'll only know if you just lit yours up. Yours is flashed orange. Jeremy, if that's you, light up somebody's K2 again.
The bear.
The bear?
I mean, the Smurf.
Smurf fell? Did it
Oh, I
move?
thought he was lighting up. It was
Oh,
that.
it's somebody's there. No? It's a no. Is William here? William is Jeremy's father. William, are you here with us? That sounded like a little kid. It said yes. Okay. Jeremy, if your dad's here, can you please light up the K2? William, if you're here, let him light it up. Just let him light up somebody's K2, please. I know you're not big on him lighting up instruments, but if you could... If you could let him light that up, I'd appreciate it. Walter, are you down here? Walter, if you're here, please let me know. Say something in the ghost box, set off my temperature gauge, light up a K2, light up the room, do something. Let me know you're here. Let me hear you come down the steps. Can you come down the steps? Walter, make a noise for me so I know you're here. Come on, Walter. I want to know that you're here with me. I know he don't usually talk in the ghost box. That's one thing he doesn't like. Can you say something to me? Walter? Sound like you said what?
Yeah.
Walter, please say something. Tell us your name on the ghost box. Do you like us to call you Walt or Walter? Do you like us to call you Walt or Walter? Come on. I'm going to give you another couple seconds. Yeah, if you sit him up, that bear, bless you, that bear will not, it won't fall by itself. It'll have to be pushed. The Smurf can just kind of lay it. There you go. Awesome. He's like, I'm going to try to get it to work. Okay, Jeremy, there's a bear out. There's a car. There's a bear, and Papa Smurf is out. That's the little blue guy with the white beard. And there's the REM pod that you can light up and play music for everybody. We'd all love to hear the music. Can you do that for me? What? Light up something, that's what. Move something. Okay, I'm going to give you 5 more seconds if you want to tell us anything on the ghost box. Okay, thank you. Okay, fine, don't talk to me then. Yeah, let me see. Let me try to get one of our buddies to come across on the dowsing rods. Let me see if we can get somebody to work the dowsing rods. Okay, let's see if anybody will work the dowsing rods. Okay. All right. If there's anybody here with us, please cross the rods in front of me. Okay. All right. Is this Jeremy? Is Jeremy down here with us? Can you point to where Jeremy is? Point to where Jeremy's standing. He's standing right over there. Okay, then light up that K2, Jeremy. If you're over there, you're by the K2, light it up. Light it up, because you're right by it. Can you light it up? Come on, try. Try your hardest. Just make it flicker, even if it's just a little bit. Try to light it up. Is there anybody else down here with us? Lieutenant Jackson, are you down here? Is Lieutenant Jackson down here with us? No. Okay. Is Mary down here with us? I'm going to reset the rods. Is Mary down here with us? No. Okay. Are there any soldiers down here with us? Okay. Let me see. Are there more than 5 soldiers down here with us? No. Okay. Are there more than 3 soldiers? Are there 2 soldiers? Are there 2 soldiers down here with us? Okay, there's 2 soldiers with us. I guarantee one's Walter, but I don't know who the other one is. Are the soldiers both down here Confederates? Okay. Is Harvey Sweeney the homeowner at the time of the war? Is Harvey Sweeney down here? Oh, I don't like that because he's cranky. Okay, where's Harvey? Okay, well, we're not going back in there. It's locked, so you can just stay back there. I'm good with that. Okay, I don't know who the other soldier is. Is Walter down here? Walter, where are you? Yep, I figured. Okay, Walter, you're here. It's every time I ask him. Every time I ask him where he is, he's behind me. Okay, Walter, if we play a game, the game where you give me, the people will give me a name and you will point to them. Will you play it with us? Yes. Okay. All right. I'll have somebody call out a name and we'll see if he points to the right person. It has to be someone who's here. Okay. Anybody want to call out a name?
Karen.
Point to Karen. Is there anybody else wants to call a name?
Jeremiah.
Point to Jeremiah. Where's Jeremiah? Right at you. That's cool. Anybody else?
Carrie.
Carrie? Point to Carrie. Carrie. You, Carrie. Anybody else want to call a name?
Joe.
Point to Joe.
Point to Tammy.
Where's Joe? Where's Joe? You're Joe?
Yeah.
He's pointing right where you are, right at the pole. That's why I was like, I couldn't see if you were raising your hand, but it was pointing right at the pole. Tammy? Point to Tammy.
If it stays at the pole, then it's in the right direction.
Well, guess what? It's right by the pole. Are you Tammy back there, honey?
Yeah.
It's pointing right. Actually, you know what's funny is I can see you, and guess where it was pointing? And I just kicked the car, but there. It was pointing right alongside the pole. I just kicked the car, so I'm going to move the car back. Sorry, Jeremy. Didn't mean to kick your car. I said I wasn't gonna walk in that area, but I still did. So, hold on a second, let me get a quick drink. Okay, if anybody else, does anybody else want to play before I
Jeff.
Jeff? Who's Jeff? It's crossed right at you. Very cool.
Riley.
Riley? Point to Riley. Are you Riley? I was pointing right to him. I wasn't sure. That's cool. All right. Anybody else? All right, Walter. Thank you for playing the game with us. I want to ask you one question, and I ask him, and I get the same answer every time, but I'm asking him again anyway. Walter, did you or one of your soldier friends up in our attic shoot the only civilian killed here in the 3-day battle, Jenny Wade? Did one of you guys shoot a civilian? Never answers. Do you know if you shot a civilian? No, you don't know. Okay. I'll take that. That's fine. If you don't know, you don't know. It might have been a stray bullet. You never know. It could have been a stray. Yep, it could have been a stray bullet. Okay. All right. I'm gonna close off communication with you for now. If no one else has any other questions they want to ask him. No? It's very odd to get a hold of a Civil War soldier, so you guys can ask any questions if you're curious. Yes.
Do you know how old he was?
Walter. Now this is a good one, but we're gonna try it. Walter, were you under 20 years old? No. Were you under, I'm gonna set it back. Were you under 30 years old? No. Were you under 40 years old? He's under 40, but over 30. Let's try 35. Were you under 35? Yes. Okay. Were you 33? Were you 33 years old, Walter? No. Were you 32? Were you 34? He's saying he was 34. Let me ask him again. You were 34 years old, Walter? Okay. Good question. Walter, were you shot in our attic? No, he wasn't. Okay, he wasn't shot in the attic. He was actually shot on the side portion of the house where the old meets the new. He was shot in the neck. So, is that what happened to you, Walter? Yes. Okay. Any other questions? No one? Yes.
Was he from Pennsylvania?
Were you, he's a Confederate, so probably not, but I know where he was from, but let's ask him. Were you from Alabama? No. Okay. Were you from South Carolina? Were you from Louisiana? Yeah.
Did he have any family?
Did you have family, Walter?
His wife left.
Yeah, his wife did leave him. He did have family.
He hates women.
Did your wife leave you when you went to battle? When you left for the battle, did your wife leave you? Yep, his wife left him.
Can you ask him if I hold on my hand, can he shake it?
Can you shake this young man's hand if he holds his hand out? Yeah, that young man. Can you go over and shake his hand? I don't know if he is, but he said, he pointed to you. Can you shake his hand? Can you shake it? No? wonder if he's just not capable of it. Are you able to? He's saying no, he's not able to. Okay. Any other questions, guys? That was a good question. It was good. All right. Thank you very much, Walter, for making contact with us. If you could, please cross off communication with us by closing the rods. Cross the rods in front of me. Thank you. You'll stay here and we'll go on our way. And can any of you, before we leave, can any of you that are down here, any soldiers, or Jeremy, or Mary, any of you, can you go over and just light the REM pod up for me? Just light it up. Because it was flickering. I saw it flickering green again. Just go over and knock the antenna down. You did it the other day. Just do it. Just go over and just knock it over. Or don't. Are you going to light up anybody's K2s? This young man has a K2 right up front. I know these guys have a K2. They have a K2. Come on, light it up. Just make it light up. Go from green to like light green. Just go green and flicker. I don't care if it's just a little hint. Somebody light up a K2. Any of you. Walter, if you're here and you are behind me, I want you to walk back and make a sound by the stairs. Go back to the stairs and walk, please. Do that favor for me. Go over and make a sound by the stairs. I don't care if you have to go up the stairs, down the stairs, knock on the stairs, do something. Come on. I'm going to wait. I'm going to give you a couple minutes. But we want to hear it. Anything, Walter? I didn't hear any footsteps upstairs. Now, Lisa and her husband Dawn that were down here said they heard somebody walking up there. I didn't hear anything. I haven't heard anything. I was waiting for it because they told me that it happened. That's probably why it's not happening. Because I was waiting. Anything? Anybody? Come on. Come on, guys. All right, I'm going to let you guys rest then. What I always like to do, and I will briefly give you guys, if anybody wants to see the pictures, because I know you guys saw them, so I don't want to make you sit through it again. If anybody wants to see pictures that were taken on tour, after the tour you can come up and I'll show them to you. If you want to see any of the paranormal videos I have, come up and I'll show them to you. It's not a problem. I have a couple that will, like, they're pretty interesting. So, but I always like to close off my tour with a quote from my favorite person. I close off every tour like this, regardless of if it's a ghost hunt or it's a regular tour. It's Major General Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain. He fought with the 20th Maine at Little Round Top. And I like to close with him because he recognized that there is something that still goes on here in Gettysburg. He came back to Gettysburg about 3 or 4 years after the battle. And he said when he entered the town, it just somehow felt different. And there was like this fog that laid over the battlefields. And I mean, even now, if you look at it, there is a fog that lays over the battlefields. It's really creepy. It's eerie. And he said when he went to Little Round Top and he sat up there, he could literally feel his men there with him that died. And he was victorious at Little Round Top, but he lost a lot of men. And he wrote, in great deeds something abides, on great fields something stays. Forms change and pass, and bodies disappear, but spirits linger, to consecrate ground for the vision place of souls. And reverent men and women from afar, and generations who know us not, and that we know not of, heart drawn to see where and by whom great things were suffered and done for them, shall come to this deathless field. So I truly believe that there is definitely more that goes on in Gettysburg, not just in this house, all throughout the battlefield. There's weird things that happen, and there's things that can't be explained, okay? I hope that you guys had a wonderful tour. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your visit to Gettysburg. If you're here tomorrow, please be careful, okay? and enjoy your visit. Okay, and I hope you guys come back and see us sometime. Thank you so much. You guys have a great visit to Gettysburg. Thank you. Thank you so much. You too. Have a wonderful night. Have a wonderful time. Thank you so much. You guys have fun. Thank you guys.
People go to the mirror and take pictures.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you absolutely can. Absolutely. Well, thank you, honey. Thank you. You guys come back and see us again. Oh, wow. Maybe Monday. That would be nice.
It's our first time and we're trying to search it over.
Yeah, that makes it nice.
Yes, ma'am.
Just be careful tomorrow because I heard there's a lot of groups coming out here.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I think we're going to go to the battlefield in the morning and ride around it. And then we're going to do the full knowledge.
I don't know.
Footsteps.
I hear it.
Boom.
Sounds like it.
Dolphin.
That's what it sounds like by the Sarah Black church. You hear
Uh-huh.
boom, boom. And then
I told you.
it sounds like when we're in the Sarah Black room, it sounds like it's coming from under the bed.
So much for this in the Jeremy room. Oh my god, this is crazy in there.
Never tell
Were
me
you in the
stories.
Jeremy room too before? It's nuts in there.
Well, you know what happened? We were coming from the store, we were parked in the back.
Uh-huh.
Lady like going up to the room and she's like, oh, come on up. And I'm like, and Anthony's like, man. And I said, so she took us up and she was like, you could hear.
Somebody
Like he
walking.
moves the blocks in the
Yeah,
room. Oh yeah.
he does. He moves the stuff.
When they were telling me about our room, the Sarah Black room, I had chill bumps like it was 50 degrees outside and it was 92.
I know.
I had goosebumps from
See,
head
and
to
that's
toe.
how I was out in the Grove. We went out to the Grove one night. It's the base of Cemetery Hill, and we were standing there. There were probably like 8 of us, and it was mid-July, so it was really, really like hot and humid. And out of nowhere, it got so cold you could see your breath when you were talking to each other. So I was like, "That's creepy. That's not normal."
When we left the Sarah Black room, we went and got supper.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it smelled like a forest fire was burning.
Yeah.
And when you stepped out the vehicle, there was no
Nothing.
smell
Yep.
at all. It was like it just came and
It's like
disappeared.
this, yep. Yep. My friend who did tours, she was out on the battlefield going home. She goes through the battlefield. She said she saw this white mist like come across the room. It went across. She said she literally felt this cold chill through her car, and then it was gone. She said it was the freakiest thing she'd ever had happen to her in
When
her
I was
life.
knocking on the door a second ago, I felt something brush past my leg.
It's possible. This house is very active, so it's just a matter of.
Feel it.
Yep, you can.
And I think that's why
It might have
just been one of those
nights.
Mhm.
Yep.
I know when we stayed at the Tilly Pierce house Wednesday night, there was a ghost cat there and the little kids, and it was like I could feel somebody sitting there doing this
Like
to my
rubbing
arm
your
while I
arm.
was sitting on
Yep.
the couch, and then like on top of my head.
Isn't that creepy?
And then I was like, I got up because he had took a picture and my face was all distorted, and I was like, Lord. I was freaked out for a minute.
There was
but then
people that took a picture. The guy took a picture of his wife in that mirror, and she was standing in front of the mirror just like this. And when he took the picture, and he took like 4 of them, and I think in like the second or third picture, there was a black smile across her face.
Yeah, my eyes were like pitch black.
It was black and had this black creepy smile. I was like, oh, I don't like that mirror.
I started freaking out. I was like, I
Yeah.
couldn't sleep that night because I was like,
Yeah,
what's around me?
yeah, you're like, what is
I was like,
bothering
wait a
me?
minute.
It's creepy.
Alright, well, thank
Well,
you.
you're very welcome. I hope you guys had a great time. Be careful.
So,
Thank you.
Lorraine Warren put that on the door?
Yes, sir. She sure did.
Wow.
She sure did. Is this yours, guys? Well, no. It's
No.
just a sticky. It's a feather. Is this yours? Is this? That's weird. I'm gonna set it here because I don't know whose it is. Just a little feather. I'm gonna go start shutting off lights. You guys take all the photos you want. I'm just gonna go back and then I can start shutting off. little by
Take a couple in the mirror too.
I will.
This is the creepiest part of my night, closing everything off.
Hey, that's the guy right there. That was Jenny.
That's Wesley Cole.
Yeah.
Yep.
I couldn't remember his name.
Yes, sir. That's Jenny Wade's buddy.
Yeah.
He
That
was
is
supposed to be
awesome.
bringing a letter to her from her fiance.
Yeah.
He was injured down south.
Oh, yeah, we heard about that.
He
when
was
we did
injured and he was on his deathbed really because he
Mhm.
knew he wasn't going to make it, and he wrote her a letter telling her he was sorry that he wouldn't be able to fulfill his promise to marry her, and gave it to Wesley Culp to bring back up here. Well, then Jenny was shot, so the letter never made it to her.
Yeah, when we did the investigation at the Jenny Wade house,
Uh-huh.
I asked if somebody had a message to give to somebody, and it came through the spirit box, not coming home.
Yep.
And then it sounded like it said wounded right after. So I was
Yep.
like, that must have been the gentleman that
Her
was
boyfriend.
not coming back home because
Right.
he knew it.
Right.
Mm.
And he did know. He knew he wasn't going to make it.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I wish we could get up in the attic, but it's
Yeah, me
hot
too.
up there. I mean,
Yeah, we walked up the steps to look at it, and
It's
it was so hot.
100 and something degrees
oh
up
no.
there.